record. The fastest player in the history, 30-year history of the WNBA, the fastest player in the history of all of the WNBA's time to reach 600 assists. She did it in just 72 games, guys. Do you think Stephanie White congratulated her on breaking a record? Do you think, but before we get into it,
What if the biggest story surrounding Caitlin Clark this week isn't just another record, but the reaction that followed it? While fans celebrated yet another historic milestone, many were left asking a completely different question. Why did the moment feel so quiet from people inside the organization? Social media exploded with debates, sports analysts weighed in, and thousands of fans started comparing this celebration to past moments involving other Fever stars. Was this simply another team-first approach, or did it reveal something deeper about the current atmosphere around Indiana? In today's video, we're breaking down what actually happened after Clark made WNBA history, why the internet turned it into a major talking point, and how fans, coaches, and media personalities have responded. We'll separate verified facts from online speculation and explain why this conversation has become one of the hottest topics in women's basketball. Stay with us, because the full story is much more complicated than the viral headlines suggest. Caitlin Clark has already accomplished something that many WNBA legends needed years to achieve. By becoming the fastest player in league history to reach 600 career assists, she once again reminded everyone why so many people consider her one of the most influential young stars the game has ever seen. The milestone itself was remarkable, but almost immediately after the final buzzer, the conversation shifted away from the record and toward something much more unexpected. Instead of celebrating only the achievement, basketball fans began focusing on the reaction from inside the Indiana Fever organization. Across social media, clips from the locker room, post-game interviews, and team celebrations were analyzed frame by frame. Many viewers believed Clark's historic accomplishment didn't receive the level of recognition they expected. That debate spread quickly. Some fans argued that great individual milestones should always be celebrated, especially when they rewrite league history. Others pushed back, saying basketball has always been a team sport and coaches naturally focus on the team's overall performance rather than personal achievements. The discussion soon became one of the biggest talking points surrounding the Fever. Whether you agree with either side or not, one thing is impossible to ignore. Every time Caitlin Clark steps onto the court, the spotlight grows even larger. Her impact extends far beyond points and assists. Television ratings continue to rise whenever she plays. Arenas fill with fans hoping to witness history. Merchandise sales remain among the highest in the league, and every game generates countless discussions online. That kind of attention naturally creates enormous expectations. Every pass, every shot, every coaching decision, and every post-game comment is examined by millions of basketball fans. The latest record only intensified that reality. Reaching 600 assists faster than anyone else in WNBA history isn't simply another statistic. It highlights Clark's unique ability to create opportunities for teammates while controlling the pace of an entire offense. Great scorers attract headlines, but elite playmakers elevate everyone around them. That's exactly why this accomplishment matters. Throughout her basketball career, from Iowa to the WNBA, Clark has consistently demonstrated extraordinary court vision. She doesn't just find open teammates, she often creates passing angles that defenders don't even anticipate. Those instincts are difficult to teach. They're one of the reasons analysts continue comparing her style to some of basketball's greatest facilitators. After the game, however, much of the online conversation wasn't focused on the assists themselves. Instead, fans started comparing this celebration to previous moments involving other Indiana Fever players. Some believed other milestones had received louder recognition. Others argued there was nothing unusual at all. Sports debates often work exactly like that. One small moment becomes hundreds of clips. Hundreds of clips become thousands of opinions. Soon, everyone has a completely different interpretation of what happened. That's exactly what unfolded here. Media personalities joined the discussion, podcasts offered their own takes, and basketball fans across multiple platforms debated whether the reactions truly meant anything. Of course, it's important to separate observable facts from internet speculation. The fact is that Caitlin Clark reached another historic milestone. The fact is that fans noticed the team's post-game reactions. Everything beyond that quickly becomes interpretation. Different viewers see the same moment differently. Some see respect. Some see routine coaching behavior. Others see missed opportunities to publicly recognize a superstar. Without direct confirmation from those involved, it's impossible to know exactly what anyone was thinking. Still, the conversation itself reveals something fascinating. Clark has become one of the few athletes whose every interaction becomes national news. Very few players receive this level of attention. That's both a tremendous opportunity and an enormous challenge. Every success becomes bigger. Every criticism becomes louder. Every emotional reaction becomes headline material. Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White has repeatedly emphasized the importance of team basketball throughout the season. Coaches often avoid placing too much attention on individual accomplishments because maintaining locker room chemistry is one of their biggest responsibilities. From that perspective, keeping the focus on collective success makes sense. At the same time, fans naturally enjoy celebrating historic milestones. Those two viewpoints aren't necessarily incompatible. A coach can prioritize the team while supporters celebrate an individual record. That's why opinions remain divided. Meanwhile, Clark herself has consistently demonstrated a team-first mentality during interviews. When asked about personal achievements, she usually redirects attention toward teammates, preparation, and winning games. That attitude has earned praise from many current and former players. Even so, supporters continue believing that extraordinary accomplishments deserve extraordinary recognition. It's a discussion that probably won't disappear anytime soon. Another reason this story gained so much momentum is because Clark has already rewritten expectations for women's basketball. Attendance records have climbed. Television audiences have expanded. National conversations about the WNBA have reached entirely new audiences. Because of that influence, every historic achievement feels larger than it might have years ago. Whether someone is a longtime WNBA fan or someone who only recently started following the league, Clark has become impossible to ignore. That popularity naturally creates stronger reactions whenever controversy appears online. Some people defend her. Others criticize the non-stop attention. But nearly everyone has an opinion. And in today's sports world, attention itself has become one of the game's most valuable currencies. As the season continues, the biggest question isn't whether Caitlin Clark will continue breaking records. Most people expect she will. The real question is how the Indiana Fever will continue balancing individual greatness with the larger goal of building a championship-caliber team. Because history shows that great teams celebrate milestones, but they're ultimately remembered for winning together. And with the playoff race becoming more competitive every week, every game from this point forward carries even greater importance. As the debate continued to spread online, another interesting pattern started to emerge. The conversation was no longer just about Caitlin Clark's record. It became a larger discussion about leadership, communication, and how organizations handle the rise of a generational superstar. In modern sports, perception can become almost as important as performance. Every post-game interview is clipped into short videos. Every locker room speech is shared across social media. Every facial expression is analyzed by thousands of viewers looking for hidden meaning. That creates an environment where even completely ordinary moments can become major headlines. For Indiana, this is a unique challenge. The franchise is no longer operating under normal circumstances. Before Clark arrived, the Fever were rebuilding and trying to establish a consistent identity. Since her arrival, the spotlight has become brighter than ever before. National television coverage has increased, ticket demand has skyrocketed, and nearly every Fever game has become one of the most talked about sporting events of the week. With that attention comes enormous pressure. Players aren't simply competing against opponents anymore. They're also performing under constant public observation. Every decision is judged immediately. Every mistake becomes a trending topic. Every success raises expectations even higher. That's the reality Clark has faced since entering the WNBA. Despite all the outside noise, one aspect of her game continues to impress basketball analysts more than anything else: her ability to make teammates better. While highlight reels often focus on her deep three-pointers, experienced coaches usually point toward her passing ability as her greatest strength. She sees passing lanes before defenders even realize they're available. She pushes the pace without losing control. She forces defenses to make impossible choices. If defenders step toward her, she finds the open teammate. If they stay home, she'll take the shot herself. That balance makes defending her incredibly difficult. It's one of the biggest reasons Indiana's offense has looked more dynamic whenever she's healthy. Of course, basketball is never a one-player sport. The Fever have several talented players who contribute in different ways. Veteran leadership, defensive intensity, rebounding, and bench production all play major roles during a long season. Championship teams aren't built around one individual. They're built through chemistry. And chemistry takes time. That's another important point often overlooked during online debates. Fans usually judge a team based on one game or one viral clip. Coaches evaluate progress over months. They watch every practice. They understand personalities inside the locker room. They see challenges that fans never witness. Because of that, their priorities can look very different from public expectations. Still, public perception matters. Especially in today's sports landscape, the WNBA has experienced unprecedented growth over the past few seasons. Attendance numbers continue rising. Corporate partnerships have expanded. Television audiences are reaching record levels. Much of that momentum has come from increased interest surrounding young stars entering the league. Clark has undoubtedly played a major role in that growth. Whether people support her or criticize her, they continue watching. And attention fuels business. That's why every storyline connected to her receives massive coverage. Some stories are based on confirmed facts. Others grow primarily because fans continue debating them online. This particular discussion falls somewhere in between. The historic assist record is absolutely real. The reactions afterward are visible for everyone to watch. But the meaning behind those reactions depends entirely on interpretation. One viewer sees disappointment. Another sees professionalism. Someone else sees nothing unusual at all. That's what makes sports conversations so fascinating. Two people can watch the exact same video and reach completely different conclusions. Meanwhile, Clark has continued approaching the season the same way she always has, with preparation and confidence. Throughout her career, she has shown remarkable composure under pressure. Whether playing before sold-out college crowds or packed WNBA arenas, her mindset rarely appears to change. She trusts her work. She trusts her teammates. Most importantly, she keeps playing her game. That consistency has earned respect from opponents across the league. Many veteran players have acknowledged her talent while also recognizing that adjusting to professional basketball takes time. The WNBA features some of the best defenders in the world. Every night presents a new challenge. No player dominates without facing adversity. Clark has experienced that firsthand. She's dealt with physical defenses. She's faced injuries. She's encountered criticism from analysts. Yet, she continues producing numbers that place her among the league's elite young stars. That's why expectations surrounding her remain so high. Fans don't simply expect good performances anymore. They expect history. Every game carries the possibility of another milestone. Every week seems to introduce another record discussion. Those expectations can be motivating, but they also create incredible pressure. Very few athletes experience that level of scrutiny so early in their professional careers. Even so, Clark continues embracing the challenge. Another fascinating aspect of this story is how quickly narratives change. One outstanding performance can dominate headlines. A difficult shooting night creates completely different conversations. One emotional interview sparks endless speculation. That's the pace of modern sports media. The news cycle never slows down. For Indiana, Staying focused becomes increasingly important. Playoff positioning isn't determined by social media debates. It's determined by wins and losses. The coaching staff understands that. The players understand that. Inside the locker room, the priority remains improving every single game. Outside the locker room, however, the discussions continue growing louder. Some fans believe Clark deserves even more recognition. Others argue the attention surrounding her has already reached unprecedented levels. Both perspectives continue fueling one of the biggest conversations in women's basketball. And as long as Clark keeps rewriting the record books, those conversations are unlikely to disappear. In fact, they may only become bigger. Because history shows that whenever a transformational athlete enters a league, public expectations continue rising. Every achievement becomes larger. Every setback becomes national news. Every season becomes another chapter in a story millions of fans are following. And with the Fever entering one of the most important stretches of their schedule, the next chapter could be the most significant one yet. As the regular season moves forward, one thing has become increasingly clear: Caitlin Clark's impact is now measured by much more than statistics. Every game she plays creates another opportunity to reshape expectations not only for herself, but for the Indiana Fever and the WNBA as a whole. Her latest assist milestone is another example of that influence. Records are meant to be broken, but reaching 600 assists faster than anyone in league history is more than just another number on a stat sheet. It reflects a style of basketball built on vision, anticipation, and trust. While scoring often grabs the headlines, great playmakers change the rhythm of an entire game. Clark has consistently shown that ability. She can speed up the offense in transition, slow the game when necessary, and recognize defensive mistakes before they fully develop. Those qualities are usually associated with veterans who have spent years mastering the professional game. Yet Clark has demonstrated them remarkably early in her career. That doesn't mean everything has been perfect. Like every young star, she's experienced difficult stretches. Opposing teams have adjusted their defensive schemes, forcing her into tougher decisions. Physical defenders have tried to disrupt her rhythm, while experienced veterans have challenged her in ways she rarely faced before entering the WNBA. Those experiences are part of the learning process. Every elite player goes through them. The difference is that Clark's learning process unfolds in front of millions of viewers. Every missed shot becomes a discussion. Every turnover becomes a headline. Every outstanding performance becomes another reminder of why expectations remain so incredibly high. Despite that pressure, she continues responding the same way by competing. That mindset may be her greatest strength. Instead of becoming distracted by outside criticism, Clark has repeatedly focused on improving the areas she can control. Coaches often praise players who maintain emotional balance throughout a long season, and that quality becomes even more valuable when constant media attention surrounds the team. Meanwhile, Indiana continues searching for consistency. The Fever have shown flashes of impressive basketball throughout the season. There have been games where the offense flows naturally, the defense communicates effectively, and the team looks capable of competing with anyone. There have also been games where mistakes, injuries, and inconsistency have created frustrating setbacks. That's normal for a young team. Building a winning culture rarely happens overnight. It requires patience. It requires accountability. Most importantly, it requires everyone moving toward the same goal. That goal isn't individual awards. It isn't social media debates. It isn't winning headlines. It's winning basketball games. The internet often forgets that. Online discussions naturally focus on controversy because controversy attracts attention. A short video clip can generate thousands of comments within hours, even when the full story is far more complicated than the clip suggests. That's why context always matters. When fans evaluate post-game reactions, interviews, or emotional moments, they're usually seeing only a small piece of a much larger picture. Inside every professional organization, countless conversations happen away from cameras. Coaches meet with players. Veterans mentor younger teammates. Front offices evaluate long-term strategies. Those important discussions rarely become public. Because of that, outsiders never have the complete story. What remains undeniable, however, is Clark's growing influence on women's basketball. She has introduced new audiences to the WNBA. Many fans who had never watched league games before are now following the season closely. National broadcasts continue attracting larger audiences. Road arenas regularly sell out when Indiana visits. Young basketball players proudly wear Clark jerseys while practicing the same deep-range shots that made her famous in college. That kind of impact extends beyond wins and losses. It represents growth for the entire sport. And growth benefits everyone. Veteran stars receive greater exposure. Young players gain larger platforms. Teams attract new sponsorship opportunities. The league continues expanding its audience. Clark may be one of the biggest faces driving that momentum, but she's also part of a talented generation helping elevate women's basketball to new heights. Looking ahead, the Fever still have plenty to accomplish. The playoff race remains competitive. Every remaining game carries significant importance. Developing chemistry, improving defensive communication, and staying healthy could ultimately determine how successful this season becomes. For Clark personally, the future appears incredibly bright. If she continues producing at this pace, more records will almost certainly follow. But perhaps the most meaningful achievement won't be another individual milestone. It will be helping transform Indiana into a consistent championship contender. That's the challenge every superstar eventually faces. Statistics create headlines. Winning creates legacies. The greatest players are remembered not only for records, but also for the teams they helped build. Clark understands that responsibility. Her interviews consistently reflect a team-first mindset, emphasizing improvement, preparation, and collective success over personal recognition. Whether every fan agrees with every coaching decision or every post-game reaction is ultimately beside the point. Basketball history isn't written by internet debates. It's written by performances on the court. And that's exactly where Clark continues making the strongest statement. Every assist, every possession, every victory, one game at a time. As the season enters its most important stretch, fans will continue watching closely to see what happens next. New records may fall. New debates will certainly emerge. But one thing seems certain, Caitlin Clark has already established herself as one of the defining figures of this era of women's basketball. Now the focus shifts from individual milestones to something even bigger. Can the Indiana Fever turn remarkable individual talent into sustained team success? That answer won't come from social media. It won't come from viral clips. It will come over the next several weeks on the court, where every possession matters and every game adds another chapter to an already unforgettable season. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth coverage of Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and the biggest stories shaping the WNBA, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. We go beyond the headlines to separate facts from speculation, analyze the biggest moments, and bring you the stories that every basketball fan is talking about. Now it's your turn to join the conversation. Do you think Caitlin Clark deserved a bigger public celebration for her historic 600-assist milestone? Or was the team's response exactly how a professional organization should handle individual records? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read as many as I can, and your opinion might even be featured in a future video. If you found this video informative, don't forget to leave a like and share it with another basketball fan. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.